Hello there, wonderful friends, and welcome back to Senior Health 365. It's so good to have you joining me today. You know, as we journey through life, especially as we embrace these golden years, there are so many aspects of our well-being that we talk about openly and honestly. We discuss everything from keeping our hearts healthy to maintaining sharp minds, and even how to keep those joints feeling limber. But there's one topic, an incredibly personal one, that often gets whispered about if it's discussed at all. And that's sexual health and intimacy, particularly for men over 60. Now, I understand that for many of us, this might feel like a delicate subject, perhaps even a bit taboo. But here at Senior Health 365, my mission is to provide you with the most honest, practical, and truly helpful information, no matter the topic, because your overall well-being, in every sense, is what truly matters. We're all about empowering you to live your best life, full of vitality and confidence. And that includes understanding every facet of your health. Today, we're going to dive into something incredibly specific, yet profoundly impactful for many men in our community: the surprising ways certain morning habits related to personal intimacy might be unintentionally causing more harm than good. You see, when we talk about masturbation, it's often viewed through a lens of personal freedom and even stress relief, and for many, it can be a perfectly healthy part of life. However, just like with anything else, there are nuances, especially as our bodies change and evolve with age. What might have been perfectly fine in your 20s or 30s could have different implications now, and that's precisely what we need to explore together. I've had countless conversations with men, some feeling a bit shy, others openly curious about what's truly healthy and what might be counterproductive when it comes to their sexual well-being in their later years. And through these conversations, and drawing on the insights from medical professionals who specialize in men's health, a clearer picture has emerged. We're going to uncover some common, yet often overlooked, mistakes that men sometimes make, particularly in the quiet hours of the morning, that can actually be silently undermining their health and vitality. This isn't about judgment. It's about enlightenment and empowerment. It's about giving you the knowledge to make informed choices that support your best self. What you'll discover today might surprise you, and it will certainly give you a fresh perspective on a very personal part of your life. We're going to talk about subtle shifts in your routine, common misconceptions, and practical adjustments you can make to ensure that your habits are truly serving your health, not hindering it. This isn't about stopping anything, but about understanding and optimizing. One of the first and most common mistakes that many older men unknowingly make in the morning is ignoring the body's natural rhythms and signals. Think about it. Our bodies are incredible machines, constantly sending us messages, especially as we age. In our younger years, perhaps the urge was strong and immediate upon waking, a powerful drive that often felt uncontrollable. But as we get older, our hormonal profiles shift. Testosterone levels naturally decline, and while desire doesn't disappear, its intensity and timing can certainly change. What happens for many men is that they continue to approach morning intimacy with the same expectation and urgency they had decades ago, often pushing their bodies beyond what's naturally comfortable or beneficial in that moment. You might wake up, and perhaps there's a vague sense of arousal, or maybe it's just a long-standing habit. But if you're not truly feeling a strong, genuine desire, and instead you're essentially forcing the act, you could be setting yourself up for several issues. For one, it can lead to unnecessary strain on your cardiovascular system. While the act itself is generally safe, pushing your body when it's not fully ready or responsive can put a subtle, undue stress on your heart. In the morning, our blood pressure can naturally be a bit higher, and engaging in intense physical activity, even personal one, without the body's full cooperation, can be taxing. It's like trying to start a cold engine and immediately redlining it. It just isn't. Ideal for longevity. Beyond the physical strain, there's also the mental and emotional component. If you're consistently engaging in this activity out of habit rather than genuine desire, you might start to feel a sense of disappointment or frustration if things don't go as they once did. This can lead to a negative self-perception, or even a feeling of inadequacy, which silently erodes your confidence. And that's something we absolutely want to avoid here at Senior Health 365. Your confidence, your self-esteem, your peace of mind, these are all vital components of healthy aging. Instead of listening to your body's current signals, you're overriding them with a memory of how things used to be. This creates a disconnect rather than a harmonious relationship with your body. The key here is to truly tune in to your body. Ask yourself, is this genuinely what my body desires right now? Or is it merely a routine or an expectation? There's a profound difference. If you wake up and feel a natural organic urge, that's one thing. But if you're habitually engaging, and it's simply because it's morning, and perhaps you've always done it that way, without genuine internal prompting, then it might be time to pause and reassess. Consider giving your body a little time to fully awaken and for natural desires to surface, rather than rushing into an activity that might feel more like a chore than a pleasure. This simple shift, this act of mindful listening, can make a significant difference in how your body responds and how you feel about yourself afterwards. We've just scratched the surface on how ignoring your body's natural rhythms can be a silent harm. In the next part, we'll dive even deeper into another crucial mistake that many older men make, one that impacts not just their physical health, but also their emotional well-being in profound ways. Stay with me, because what you learn next could truly change your morning routine for the better. Now, we're going to delve into another significant, yet rarely discussed, mistake: over-reliance on external stimulation or highly specific routines. Think about it for a moment. In our younger years, the body often responds with incredible ease and spontaneity. A simple thought, a fleeting image, or a natural physical sensation might have been all it took. But as we age, our bodies change. Nerve sensitivity can decrease. Blood flow might not be as robust, and hormonal shifts are very real. These are just natural parts of getting older, not indicators of failure. However, a common mistake many men make is to compensate for these natural changes by relying more and more on very specific, often intense, forms of external stimulation, or by rigidly adhering to a routine that might no longer be serving them. For example, some men might find themselves consistently reaching for very explicit or intense visual material, or perhaps resorting to very forceful physical techniques, simply to achieve the desired response. While these methods might offer a temporary solution, they can inadvertently create a problematic cycle. When you constantly push for a very high level of stimulation, your body can begin to adapt to that, meaning that anything less intense feels unsatisfying or insufficient. This is akin to constantly eating very spicy food. Eventually, milder flavors just don't register the same way. Over time, this can lead to a kind of desensitization, not just physically, but also mentally and emotionally. What happens is that a natural, innate capacity for pleasure and arousal can diminish because it's always being overwhelmed by external, heightened input. This can lead to a subtle yet pervasive feeling of dissatisfaction or dependence. You might start to feel like you need that specific type of stimulation to achieve pleasure, rather than being able to find it in more natural or varied ways. This isn't just about the physical act. It touches upon your broader sense of self and your capacity for intimacy, whether alone or with a partner. If your body and mind are constantly being trained to respond only to extreme inputs, it makes it harder to appreciate and respond to the more subtle, nuanced forms of pleasure that are often more sustainable and deeply satisfying in the long run. Furthermore, this over-reliance can sometimes lead to physical discomfort or even minor injuries. While we won't go into graphic detail here, suffice it to say that applying excessive force or engaging in highly repetitive, specific motions, especially when the body's tissues are naturally a bit more delicate with age, can result in chafing, soreness, or other minor irritations that can actually make intimacy less enjoyable or even painful over time. It becomes a self-defeating cycle where the pursuit of pleasure inadvertently causes discomfort, leading to a negative association with the act itself. The solution here is not to completely abandon all forms of external stimulation, but rather to diversify and moderate your approach. Consider exploring different types of stimulation, perhaps those that are gentler or more varied. Take time to really focus on the sensations themselves, rather than just the outcome. Sometimes, simply slowing down, paying attention to your breathing, and allowing your body to respond naturally can be incredibly rewarding. It's about cultivating a more mindful and gentle approach to self-pleasure. Another aspect of this mistake is the rigid adherence to a specific morning routine that might no longer be serving you. Perhaps you've always had a certain time of day, a certain place, or even a certain sequence of events surrounding your morning intimacy. While routines can provide comfort, if yours is leading to frustration, desensitization, or a feeling of obligation rather than genuine desire, it's time to reassess. Our bodies change, our needs change, and our preferences can change. What was once comfortable or stimulating might now feel forced or uninspiring. Perhaps your morning energy levels are different now, or your mind is already racing with the day's tasks. Trying to shoehorn a personal, intimate moment into a time that no longer feels right can diminish its pleasure and even lead to a sense of unfulfillment. It's perfectly okay to experiment with different times of day or different environments, to see what feels most natural and pleasurable now. Maybe an afternoon moment of relaxation or an evening wind down offers a more conducive atmosphere for you. This isn't about giving up a habit. It's about optimizing it for your current being got by letting go of the need for extreme stimulation and rigid routines. You open yourself up to a broader, more sustainable, and ultimately more satisfying experience of self-intimacy. It allows your body and mind to reconnect with natural pleasure, free from the pressure of forced outcomes or specific methods. This shift can not only enhance your personal moments, but also improve your overall sense of well-being and confidence. We've covered two crucial mistakes today, and I hope you're already seeing how subtle changes can make a big difference. In our next part, we'll continue this important conversation, uncovering another mistake that touches upon mental well-being and the often overlooked connection between mind and body in older men. You won't want to miss it. We've been having a truly important conversation today about morning habits and personal well-being for men over 60. So far, we've explored the dangers of ignoring your body's natural rhythms and the pitfalls of over-reliance on external stimulation or rigid routines. I truly hope these insights are resonating with you and offering a fresh perspective. Now, let's move on to our third crucial point, one that is often the most overlooked, yet has profound implications for both your physical and mental health, allowing the experience to become solely goal-oriented rather than process-oriented. What do I mean by that? Well, for many men, especially as they get older, there can be a subtle but significant shift in how they approach personal intimacy. It often becomes laser-focused on one single outcome, orgasm. While orgasm is a natural and often pleasurable part of sexual expression, when it becomes the sole focus, the only goal, the only measure of success, it can silently drain the joy and true benefit out of the experience. Think about it this way. If every time you went for a walk, the only thing that mattered was reaching a specific destination as quickly as possible, you'd miss out on the fresh air, the sights, the sounds, the feeling of your muscles moving, and the overall enjoyment of the journey itself. It's the same here. When the entire experience becomes a race to the finish line, you bypass all the nuances, the subtle sensations, the relaxing moments, and the genuine self-connection that can be so valuable. This goal-oriented mindset can lead to a considerable amount of performance anxiety, even when you're alone. You might find yourself constantly monitoring your body's response, feeling frustrated if it's not happening fast enough or strongly enough. This anxiety can be incredibly counterproductive, as stress and tension are notorious for inhibiting natural arousal and pleasure. It creates a vicious cycle. The more you worry about the outcome, the harder it becomes to achieve it, which then increases the worry. This isn't just mentally exhausting. It can also have very real physiological effects, making it harder for your body to relax and respond naturally. For older men, who might already be experiencing natural shifts in their physical responses, this added pressure can turn what should be a source of relaxation and pleasure into a source of stress and disappointment. You might start to view the act through a lens of success or failure, rather than as a natural, fluid expression of your sexuality. This emphasis on performance can chip away at your self-esteem and lead to a sense of inadequacy if every morning isn't a perfect outcome. Furthermore, when the focus is solely on the end goal, you miss out on the incredible benefits of the process itself. Self-intimacy can be a powerful tool for stress reduction, a way to connect with your body, to explore your own sensations, and even to practice mindfulness. When you're solely focused on achieving orgasm, you're not fully present in the moment. You're not noticing the subtle shifts in sensation, the relaxation of your muscles, the calming of your breath, or the quiet pleasure of simply being in your own body. These are all incredibly valuable aspects that contribute to overall well-being. The solution here is to cultivate a more mindful and process-oriented approach. Shift your focus from achieving an orgasm to exploring sensation or experiencing pleasure. This means giving yourself permission to simply be in the moment without a predefined outcome. Allow yourself to feel what you feel without judgment or pressure. If orgasm happens, great. If it doesn't, that's perfectly fine too, because you still enjoyed the journey and the connection with yourself. This might sound counterintuitive at first, especially if you've been conditioned to think of personal intimacy in very specific terms for decades. But I promise you, this shift can be incredibly liberating. It takes the pressure off and allows your body to respond more naturally. When you release the need for a specific outcome, you often find that your body relaxes and pleasure becomes more accessible and enjoyable. Practically, this means slowing down, paying attention to your breath, noticing where you feel sensations in your body, exploring different levels of touch and different areas. It's about curiosity and self-discovery rather than demanding a particular result. If you find your mind racing ahead, gently bring it back to the present moment, to the sensations you're experiencing right now. This is a form of mindfulness, and it can be incredibly beneficial for your overall mental well-being, reducing stress and fostering a deeper connection with yourself. By embracing a process-oriented approach, you transform what might have become a stressful chore into a genuinely enjoyable and relaxing experience. It restores the inherent pleasure and self-care aspects of personal intimacy, allowing you to honor your body's current capabilities without comparison to the past. This isn't about setting lower expectations. It's about setting healthier expectations that prioritize your holistic well-being over a singular, often pressured outcome. We've covered some profound insights today, and there's one final, equally important point we need to discuss. A mistake that touches upon the very real connection between our physical habits and our emotional health. This next point is critical for truly understanding how to optimize your morning routine for a healthier, happier you. Stick around for part 4, which is coming right up. The final part of our deep dive here on Senior Health 365. We've had such an honest and vital conversation, uncovering hidden pitfalls and discovering better approaches to a very personal aspect of your well-being. We've talked about respecting your body's natural rhythms, avoiding over-reliance on external stimulation, and shifting from a goal-oriented mindset to a more process-oriented one. Now, let's wrap things up with our fourth, and arguably most impactful, mistake: allowing feelings of guilt or shame to associate with your personal intimacy. This might seem obvious, but it's astonishing how many men, particularly as they get older, carry unspoken burdens of guilt or shame when it comes to their own sexual expression, even in private. This isn't just about religious or cultural upbringing, though those can certainly play a role. Often, it stems from deeply ingrained societal messages about masculinity, aging, and sexuality. There's this subtle, pervasive idea that as you age, your sexuality should somehow diminish, or become less relevant, or even something to be ashamed of if it persists. And when these feelings creep in, they don't just affect your emotional state. They have a very real, very silent impact on your physical health. When you engage in any activity, including personal intimacy, while simultaneously harboring feelings of guilt, shame, or even just mild embarrassment, your body responds. Our minds and bodies are inextricably linked. These negative emotions trigger a stress response. Your body might release stress hormones like cortisol. Your muscles can tense up, and your nervous system goes into a state of alert rather than relaxation. This is precisely the opposite of what you want when engaging in an activity that should ideally be a source of pleasure, relaxation, and self-connection. Over time, consistently engaging in an activity while feeling this internal conflict can lead to a host of issues. For one, it can diminish your natural desire and capacity for pleasure. Your brain, in an attempt to protect you from what it perceives as a source of discomfort or negative emotion, might start to shut down the very pathways that lead to arousal and enjoyment. It's like telling your body, "This isn't safe, don't enjoy this," and eventually your body complies. This isn't a conscious choice, but a subtle, cumulative effect of emotional suppression. Beyond that, this internal conflict can contribute to broader feelings of anxiety and even depression. If a natural, healthy aspect of your human experience becomes a source of self-condemnation, it can permeate other areas of your life, making you feel less vital, less confident, and less at peace. It can lead to a disconnection from your own body and your own desires, which is incredibly detrimental to holistic well-being. You might start to avoid personal moments of intimacy altogether, not because you lack desire, but because the associated feelings are simply too heavy to bear. The truth, my friends, is that sexual health and expression, in a safe and consensual way, is a natural and healthy part of the human experience at any age. There is absolutely nothing to be ashamed of in having desires, exploring your own body, or finding pleasure in self-intimacy. Regardless of whether you are 20, 60, or 90, your sexuality doesn't have an expiration date, and it certainly isn't something to hide or feel guilty about. The solution to this mistake is perhaps the most profound. Cultivate self-acceptance and self-compassion. Begin by acknowledging that these feelings of guilt or shame might exist without judgment. Just notice them. Then, consciously remind yourself that your desires are natural and valid. Give yourself permission to explore and enjoy this aspect of your being without condemnation. This might involve challenging long-held beliefs or societal norms that no longer serve you. It means reframing your perspective. Instead of viewing personal intimacy as something illicit or secretly indulged, see it as an act of self-care, a way to connect with your own body, release tension, and experience natural pleasure. It's an Affirmation of your vitality and your humanity. Practically, this means being kind to yourself. If a session doesn't go as planned, don't criticize yourself. If you find your mind wandering to negative thoughts, gently redirect it back to acceptance. And self-kindness. Focus on the positive feelings, the relaxation, the sense of connection. The more you approach this aspect of your life with acceptance and compassion, the more enjoyable and beneficial it will become. This mental shift is incredibly powerful, transforming a potentially stressful activity into a genuinely uplifting. 1. In summary, my dear friends, remember these crucial insights. First, listen to your body's natural rhythms rather than forcing morning intimacy out of habit. Allow genuine desire to guide you. Second, diversify and moderate your approach to stimulation, avoiding over-reliance on intense or rigid methods that can desensitize your body. Third, shift your focus from being purely goal-oriented to being process-oriented, allowing yourself to simply explore sensations and enjoy the journey without pressure for a specific outcome. And finally, and perhaps most importantly, release any lingering guilt or shame associated with your personal intimacy. Embrace self-acceptance and self-compassion, understanding that your sexual health is a natural and valid part of your overall well-being at any age. By making these subtle but powerful shifts, you can transform your morning routine and indeed your entire approach to personal intimacy into a source of genuine pleasure, relaxation, and self-care. This isn't about giving anything up. It's about optimizing, enhancing, and truly aligning your actions with your deepest well-being. Your vitality, your confidence, and your peace of mind are paramount. And taking charge of these personal aspects of your health is a huge step toward living your best life in your golden years. If this video resonated with you, if it sparked a thought, or if it simply made you feel a little more understood, please take a moment to give it a thumbs up. Your likes truly help Senior Health 365 reach more incredible people like you who can benefit from this information. And I'd love to hear your thoughts. Share your experiences or questions in the comments below. Remember, this is a safe and supportive community, and your insights can help others. And of course, if you haven't already, subscribe to Senior Health 365 and hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on any of our future videos. Dedicated to helping you thrive every single day. Thank you so much for joining me today. You are vital, you are capable, and you deserve to live a life full of health, happiness, and peace. Until next time, take good care of yourselves.